everyone, it's me, Paolo. Have you seen my bear? You haven't? Aw, where could I find my bear? Come on, let's go find my bear. Oh, hi! I'm still looking for my bear, but I couldn't find him here either. Are you willing to help me find him? Really? Then that's great. I'll call this mission The Bear That Wasn't. Oh, my notebook. There are clues here that may help us find our bear. First, we need to find the castle of Bridget. There are clues out there that might help us find my bear. Then, we'd go next to the castle of Johan. I wonder what clues we could get there. And oh, another castle. I think it's the castle of Ella. And then finally, there's the castle of Linda, who could take us to the place where my bear is hiding. Are you ready to explore the bear that wasn't? Great! Then let's go!
Hello everyone! What are you doing here in my castle? Are you looking for Paolo's bear? Great! You have found the right path to start looking for clues. In this castle, you will find out the origin of the bear that wasn't. Did you know that The Bear That Wasn't was made by Frank Tashlin, who was also an author of children's book? He was born on February 19, 1913 and died on May 5, 1972. Frank Tashlin was an exceptional animator, film director, and the writer that produced and directed many stories that he personally wrote. He was also the person behind the famous animated films like Brother Brat, Puss in Booty, Swooner Crooner, and The Chow Hound. He wrote and illustrated 3 books, and one of them is The Bear That Wasn't. The Bear That Wasn't is an American classic of children's literature. The book was published in 1946, a year after World War II happened. It is a children's book with satirical elements, and lastly, The Bear That Wasn't was adopted into a short film by Chuck Jones in 1967. Did you find what you are looking for? If so, I hope you enjoy your time here in my castle. For the bonus part, I have prepared the story of The Bear That Wasn't.
Once upon a time, in fact it was on Tuesday, the bear saw that it was time to go into a cave and hibernate. And that was just what he did. Not long afterward, in fact it was on Wednesday, lots of workers arrived near that cave. While the bear slept, they built a great huge factory. As winter turned to spring, the bear awoke and stepped out of his cave. His eyes popped. Where was the forest? Where was the grass? Where were the trees? Where were the flowers? What had happened? I must be dreaming, he said. Of course, I'm dreaming. But it wasn't a dream. It was real. Just then, the foreman came out of the factory. Hey, you get back to work, he said. The bear replied, I don't work here. I'm a bear. The foreman laughed. That's a fine excuse for a man to keep from doing any work, saying he's a bear. The bear said, But I am a bear. The foreman stopped laughing. He was very mad. Don't try to fool me, he said. You're not a bear. You're a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. I'm going to take you to the general manager. The general manager also insisted the bear was a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. The bear said, No, you're mistaken. I am a bear. The general manager was very mad too. The bear said, I'm sorry to hear you say that. You see, I'm a bear. The third vice president was even madder. The second vice president was more than mad or madder. He was furious. The first vice president yelled in rage. He said, You're not a bear. You're a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. I'm going to take you to the president. The bear pleaded, This is a dreadful error, you know, because ever since I can remember, I've always been a bear. And that is exactly what the bear told the president. Thank you for telling me, the president said. You can't be a bear. Bears are only in a zoo or a circus. They're never inside a factory, and that's where you are, inside a factory. So, how can you be a bear? The bear said, But I am a bear. The president said, Not only are you a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat, but you are also very stubborn. So I'm going to prove it to you once and for all that you are not a bear. The bear said, But I am a bear. The president packed his vice presidents and the bear into a car and drove to the zoo. The bears in the zoo said the bear was not a bear because if he were a bear, he would be inside a cage. The bear said, But I am a bear. So they all left the zoo and drove to the nearest circus. Is he a bear? The president asked the circus bears. The bears said no. If he were a bear, he would be wearing a little hat with a striped ribbon, holding onto a balloon, and riding a bicycle. The bear said, But I am a bear. When the president and his vice presidents returned to the factory, they put the bear to work on a big machine with a lot of other men. The bear worked on the big machine for many months. After a long time, the factory closed and all the workers went away. The bear was the last one left. As he left the shutdown factory, he saw geese flying south and the leaves falling from the trees. Winter was coming, he thought. It was time to hibernate. He found a cave and was about to enter when he stopped. I can't go in a cave. I'm not a bear. I'm a silly man who needs a shave and wears a fur coat. As the days grew colder and the snow fell, the bear sat shivering with cold. I wish I were a bear, he thought. Then suddenly, he got up and walked through the deep snow toward the cave. Inside it was cozy and snug. The icy wind and cold snow couldn't reach him here. He felt warm all over. He sank down on a bed of pine boughs and soon he was happily asleep and dreaming sweet dreams, just like all bears do when they hibernate. So even though the foreman and the general manager and the third vice president and the second vice president and the first vice president and the president and the zoo bears and the circus bears had said he was a silly man who needed a shave and wore a fur coat, I don't think he really believed it. Do you? No, indeed. He knew he wasn't a silly man and he wasn't a silly bear either.
Hello! Are you here to find some clues? If so, then you are lucky! Because here in my castle, I heard the bear was talking. Do you want to hear what he said? Okay, your wish is granted. Oh wait! I also heard a man talking to the bear. Are you curious? Well, I am too. But first, you must lean closer. Come closer, okay? And listen to what the bear had said, okay?
This is a dreadful error, you know, because ever since I can remember, I've always been a bear.
And hear what the man had said. Listen, okay? If you're curious too.
You can't be a bear. Bears are only in a zoo or a circus. They're never inside a factory. And that's where you are, inside a factory. So, how can you be a bear?
Are you still curious? Or did you find what you're looking for here? If not, I suggest you to go to the castle of Linda because she will give you important clues about the bear. Okay? So for now, bye-bye!
Do you hear that? I think that's the bear. Are you looking for him too? Great! I have here clues that may lead you as to why the bear went missing. Are you ready to hear it? Good! Did you know that the bear that wasn't shows how one's identity is shaped not only by his or her own perceptions, but also by how others identify us? One thing we can observe in the story is the factor that made the situation harder and harder for the bear to maintain his identity, and that is when he encountered more powerful people that repeatedly refuted his claim that he is a bear. The bear who is powerless started to believe this assumption, which made him to decide to conform. But what does it mean to conform? Conformity is a type of social influence that involves a change in values, belief, or behavior to fit in with a group. There are a number of different reasons why people conform. One is the need to become part of a group that forces us to do what others do, even if it seems out of our character. You see, this is what Frank Tashlin wants to relay, that society can easily alter people's mindset, especially when a person doesn't have a strong foundation about his or her identity. Conformity maintains order and peace in society. However, it could also become a barrier to critical thinking and a threat to freedom by hindering people to pursue their personal desires. The bear tried to convince himself that he is indeed not a bear. He hesitated for so long, yet in the end, the bear was able to regain his sense of self.
Everyone, we have searched enough for my bear. I finally understood why he chose to stay there. I can only watch him from afar because he is a bear who needs to hibernate.